All right, Chuck Dizzle back at it, live and direct, keeping it homegrown as always, man. I got some individuals in the house. This is the first time I've actually done this, okay? And it's only right because we got the invisible man in here. Shouts out to the one and only Stevie Crooks.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why if anybody's that's looking right now, we going with the theme. All right, we're not playing around. The invisible man is here, and we got a homegrown alumni. He's actually been responsible for doing our intro for homegrown. We got here at Real 92.3. Just a fellow brother. He's been there from day one when we had homegrown in the apartment. So it's always a pleasure for him to see and be a part of different moments of homegrown, man. Well, man, Curtis King is here as well, man. It's good to see you, bro.
It's a pleasure to see you.
Bro, we can't talk at the same time. You know that, right? Because people say we got the same voice.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Just say live and direct real quick one time for the people.
Live and direct.
There it is. There it is. Stevie Crooks, man, the invisible man, bro. I'm very impressed with the project. I told you just off of hearing it on strength. I'm just like, yo, I just want you to come up here and talk about this, right? And I think it's very important for a couple of reasons because I don't know if you remember when you were on a couple of years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you did something that impressed not only myself, but it impressed Head too. And I don't think he's mentioned it quite a few times on the podcast and in different interviews that we've done. And it was something that you had referenced during the interview. And I think I don't know if you remember, but he asked you like, yo, what if this doesn't work out or something to the aspect of like radio or mainstream? You're like, I'm not doing it for that. I don't care. You know, if I don't get a radio spin in my life, if I don't get a placement, I'm not tripping. I'm doing this for me, right? And I think it impressed him at that moment, and it impressed me too, just because it's like, yo, you're doing it for the art, right? Yeah. And here we are again 10 years later, and you're still doing it for the art. So much so where you're like, I don't give a fuck about what you think. And we'll talk about the transition and, you know, maybe having those moments of wanting to appease a fan base or a platform. But here we are again and making sure that the art comes first.
Yes.
First of all, do you remember that moment? No, he doesn't. Doesn't remember.
It just sounded like me.
Yeah.
So it sounded like something I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was just one of those and I've heard it before, but it was just something about the way you said it and how you meant it. And it's like you hear people say it, but sometimes you can tell deep down people don't really mean it, right? Right. You can dangle that carrot and be like, well, okay, well, if you get radio play right now, would you take? Well, yeah. You in that moment you was like, yo, I really don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest, and it was just something that was appreciated at the time, and I'm glad here we are again, you know, years later, and I'm able to bring you up here. You know, here we are at a radio station. Right. Not saying we're gonna do radio play or anything like that, right? But it's just like here we are. Me allowed to be able to have that platform to introduce you to some, you know, and for others just showcase like, yo, you can do it on your own merit and get that platform, that chance to speak.
Exactly.
So I want you to come up here and talk about the invisible man. But how are you doing first and foremost, man? Congratulations on the project, and how do you feel about it being out and all that, bro?
I feel great, honestly. The project did what I needed it to do, which is basically show others that it's okay. You know what I mean? Like, we've been put in so many positions where we're chasing something and we forget that, you know, it's a marathon, you know? Yeah. You so worried about now because the internet is now. So you get put in a position where you're forcing everything, you're rushing everything, and you're comparing. And I was just trying to, you know, show people to stop comparing and just start sharing. Yeah. Like, just share your art.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you know, if you're making what everybody else is making and you're not being yourself and you're not making your art, you just, when you're gone, 9 times out of 10, nobody gonna remember you. Yeah. You pretty much on the shelves with everything else,
yeah.
You know, and
especially with music coming out so much now, even more so. It's like, I forgot what the stat was, Curtis. I'm sure you know how many songs are dropped on Spotify in a day. What is it, like 40?
It's around 100. Is it
40,
not 126,000?
Insane.
That's what I heard.
Insane.
I really don't know, but I know it's a lot. But to your point, it's like if you're going to be among those masses, why not? How are you going to stand out and be yourself?
Exactly.
At least if it's not standing out, you can be yourself and be happy with the product that's out there.
And the funniest thing is people don't realize that being yourself is how you stand out.
Exactly.
So I think people forget that every artist that they look up to or aspire to be, the reason that they are where they are because they were different than everybody at that time. You know what I mean? There was something about them that was different than what was going on. That's why it propelled them to the level that they were.
Yeah.
You know, so people see success and they just run towards that formula and forget, you know, that was for them. Mm-hmm. You know, I ain't gonna say you need to figure out, but you just need to stick to your guns and do what you love. If you're doing music and you don't love it, what are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing it for?
Yeah.
There's other avenues where you can make money in music without doing music. You're clogging up a space, I guess, that you know, it doesn't need to be clogged up anymore.
Yeah.
It's oversaturated. There's a reason why it's oversaturated. There's more people that are in it for other things than, you know, what it's really for, you know? It's to heal, it's to express, it's to change things, it's so many things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I've been trying to push with my peers and whoever else is, you know, listening and watching what I'm doing. Like I'm not saying I'm gonna be the biggest person ever, but at least I can be the first domino. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That changes something. So
what are those conversations that you're having with yourself when you not only approach a project, because it's like you have characters, right? And you make sure, like, here we are, the invisible man, the lights are low, you're going through these themes. Like, what are those conversations? I'm interested. What are those conversations you're having with yourself when it is album mode, when it's time to kind of like put this on display with yourself, and now you have to step outside of what you've done to make sure you're doing, you know, topping the last thing that you've done,
right? And
making sure that you're different from the last thing that you do. So what are those conversations with yourself when you're in the creation process? Once it's done, then it's out, and then making sure that you stand on, you know, everything, the messages that you're pushing.
Yeah, it's a lot of self-reflecting, and it's a lot of like looking at the climate from, I guess, like I'm looking at the climate as somebody I always bring this up. Like I'm like the kid that's like, there's a bus, but I don't feel like riding a bus. I'd rather walk home. I'd rather walk to school, but we're going to get there at the same time.
Yeah.
But the things that I'm seeing on the way is going, you know, prepare me for life.
Yeah.
You know, the things that I'm seeing on the way, I'm able to express those. I'm able to, you know, maneuver in this world freely. And, you know, like the kids may make fun of me because I'm walking, but I get to see the trees. Yeah. I get to see cars that I never seen before.
You're going to have some bigger calves, you know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. All that. Like, I ain't going, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to understand my body more. I'm going to understand so many. I'm just going to understand life. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I feel like people are so ready to get on the bus and rush to where they got to go that they're forgetting, you know, like some things you got to learn on the way. And it's almost one of those, like, you taking the hard way on purpose. It's not even that. It's just built in me to be this way.
It sounds like somebody's told you that before. I mean, you taking the hard way. Why are you taking the hard way?
Yeah. So, a lot of people tell me that all the time.
So what's your response when people tell you that? Have you built up a response to that? Or is it like just kind of rubs off your back? What is it? Bounce off your back?
Where, I mean, shit, I'm here right now.
Yeah.
I took the hard way, but I'm here again. Yeah. You feel me? Like and I didn't do nothing. I ain't gonna say I didn't do that much changing. I just got better at what I'm doing. I got better at my message. I got better at my craft, and I got better at expressing what I've been trying to express since the beginning, which is, you know, it's art. Like it's art. Like I want to live forever. And half of the things that's coming out right now, it's not gonna stay forever. Nobody's gonna care. Yeah. Cause there's nothing different about it. You know, I'm not saying I'm the most different person in the world, but what I'm doing right now is setting the tone And eventually, as I go on and I get better and learning, then I'm gonna just become unstoppable.
Bro, we've done 400 interviews, about 400 interviews. Maybe out of those 400, let's say 100 or so has been taped. This is the first one we've done in the dark.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, definitely standing out for sure.
But that's the thing. Like, why do people even need to know what the person look like?
Yeah.
Like, when did that even become something? That is when I just feel like you selling something to the point where the person that you're selling, they're not even in control. They're not even in control of them selling themselves. You know what I mean? Like, so I'd rather be in control of my art that I'm selling, because that's what I'm putting out into the world. I'm not putting me. I'm putting my art out into the world. Like, who cares what I look like?
Right. I want you to hear me anyway.
Yeah,
it's kind of like how when they talk about the senses, right? Like if there's 5 different senses, if you're blind, then your hearing is a little more heightened.
Right.
Can't hear, your sight is a little more enhanced to whatever the case may be. So it's like purposely removing that, it does something. It makes you pay attention.
Yeah.
Makes people, I'm gonna go hear what this fucking album's about. What
is this?
What is he talking about?
Exactly.
Or even on the cover, like, who, and a lot of your covers are like that, to be honest.
Yeah,
like,
they've always been that way.
It's always been like that. So it's like, it's nothing. That's
Ain't
all
nothing
I'm
new.
laughing. It's like when you hear him laughing in the background about that, it's like, because it's like, yo, I haven't switched up my style.
Nah.
Been doing this.
I just stuck to my guns. And that's the thing, like, everybody, like, and I'm not going to say I haven't had those moments where I've switched. I've had those moments where I switched in private, because I already know what I put out into the world, and I want to be true to what I've been saying. So I may switch up, but there's just something about me, like, not putting it out. It may just be me sharpening my swords or something, like, see if I can play on a level, or see if I can rap on those certain type of beats. I'll record it. It'll be good, but I'm not about to put it out because it's training. Like, it's
but why not just for, like I said, if it's art, why not have that be a piece of art as well?
Because everybody else has made that picture already. Everybody else has painted that painting already. What's gonna be the difference? I'm gonna be in Walmart in the picture section with them.
Shout out to Walmart.
Yeah, shout out to Walmart. It ain't nothing wrong with being in Walmart. Yes, people are gonna buy the pictures and they're gonna have you in the home and all of that stuff. But I'd rather be in a museum where people travel around the world to come there, where people are making elaborate plans to try to steal the art. Like, it's deeper than rap, like.
I love how, again, we got Curtis on the album as well, narrating the whole project. You guys have known each other, 15 years? I'm assuming, like,
around 15,
long time. And you guys collaborated with each other before. Why was that important for you to kind of have Curtis on here to kind of narrate the messages and the themes that we hear throughout the album as well?
I'll start it and then I'll let Curtis finish.
Please, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I was already working on this project. I was trying to create, like, I was going through my phases of, like, trying to strip away everything that I learned and just kind of make what I feel.
I want to put a pin in that. How do you do that? When you say you strip away that, is it?
It's self-reflection. It's almost like having that talk with yourself.
Give me a question. What are you asking yourself?
So, like, this beat is cool, but why would you rap on this beat when this is not what you are pushing? Or, this bar is cool, but this isn't really you. So you might gotta. It's dope. You could keep it, but there's no reason for you to record this, or there's no reason for you to put this out because this doesn't even represent who you are.
Wow.
So, and it's hard to do that. As an artist, it's hard to do that, especially when, like, you're writing and it's fun and you're having fun with different type of beats and you're having fun with these different styles. As, like, a lyricist, pretty sure there's a lot of people that are lyricists. You have fun when you do other stuff besides what you do, because it's like it's like playing a pickup game almost, But the way I play at the pickup game, I can't play like that in the NBA. that ain't none of that stuff is gonna work. You know what I mean? They're gonna call all types of
different rules.
Yeah, the rules is different.
Yeah.
So if the rules are different, I need to make sure that I'm solid with me. So that way, when those rules do apply to me, as long as I'm sticking to my guns, I'm able to survive in the climate. I'm able to survive in this climate because I've been around. I've been around. I may not be on the highest scale, but I think my respect is to the highest scale.
Right.
So as time is going by, I'm just doing this through respect. And it's funny how like that's like the main thing that we always talk about, and I'm living it right now. You know what I mean? But so let's get back to Kurt. I'm gonna get back to Kurt. So basically, when I was making a project, I was having those moments, and I ended up running into Curtis at a show at Firewater, and I was just outside, like just on some regular, like I just want to be around music. I usually was never like that at all anyway. Like everybody know, like I never go nowhere.
That too, yeah,
you know what I mean? So I had a whole phase where I was just going out and just being outside, and people just surprised that I'm there. But I seen Curtis, and we just was having fun, like on some regular nigga shit.
Yeah, no, for real. Yeah.
And I was like, yo, I got this project that's about to come out. I want you to listen to a couple of songs. And before that though, we got in the whip and we were just talking, and then the conversation just became almost like I was talking to myself. The things that we were bringing up, we were like both agreeing back to back with, and I was just like, let me play you the project. So then I played it, and then it was just from there. It was just like, let's go. Yeah. It was just like, let's go. I wanted him to narrate or have a beat on it or something. Like I wanted him to do something in it. Yeah. And then we ended up getting in the studio, and he did magic. Yeah.
Now, for Curtis, from your perspective, like you're hearing the music, right? And you're great at what you do. So, was there a script involved? Was there like I want to get it from your side as well, as he's playing you the music.
Right.
In your mind, are you like, damn, I got something for this as an artist, as a producer, or man, I have something to enhance or bring something to the table with this as he's talking about it? Or are you just being a fan of music and just enjoying it as you're listening?
So I think the conversation we had really set the tone for that entire thing unraveling the way it did. Because when he first said he's working on a project, my mind as a producer first goes to maybe there's some production I can provide. But when we had that conversation and we saw, he keeps saying it's bigger than rap, that we're at a place now where we can do something that has a domino effect upon our peers.
Yeah.
Something that there's a lot of folks right now that I feel like are activated that think they're the only ones that are going through it, so they're not sharing it with each other. We were the first one to really have this long conversation. Then he played me the music, and I started to slowly, he don't know this, but in the moment I was like, I don't have nothing for this.
Wow.
Right? Like, and not even from a sense of I can't make anything. It was a matter of I don't want to disrupt this art piece.
Word.
That's what it felt like. It was like listening to one of my favorite artists in their bag. Same feeling I get when I listen to a Kendrick album, right? I listen to Kendrick album, and I'm like, oh no, I don't have nothing for that bag.
He's in pocket.
He's in pocket, and I just want to be around that art because it's so different from the art that I create for myself. But in hearing these songs, I think the thing that drove the narration or even the opportunity was the fact that so many of the things we were saying in conversations ended up going into those narrations. Yeah. So it wasn't like I sat there with a script like, what could be some like cool shit to say? It was never that. It was a matter of these are conversations we're already having.
Facts.
I wonder what would happen if I just compiled these. So I started off, actually we had a studio session where I was making beats, trying to, figure it out. And I just started narrating. I was like, I think this is going to be the direction.
Yeah, freestyling.
Yeah,
freestyling. Like I'm sitting there and he just playing the beat. He playing the instrumental and he just talking. So we got a couple of them.
We got even more that didn't make it. But I think the point was that I didn't have to think that hard. This is one of the first times in a long time that the thoughts were stronger than the pen. It was just a fluid conversation. You tell me to seamlessly jump from the microphone to he and I having this conversation 3 hours after the venue and let out and everybody went home. It wouldn't feel like it's a narration.
I want to talk about you being outside because you said that's something that you don't normally do.
Yeah, I don't know.
You pop out, right?
Yeah, I don't pop out really. No.
Yeah, no, I know. That's what I'm saying. I ain't seen your ass in 10 years. Like 10 years. Time. Like I get it. No, I understand.
Yeah.
But
the funniest thing is like I'll be outside, but like I'll be places where like I know nobody gonna go to,
and that's on purpose.
And that's on purpose. Yeah, I'm 8 feet tall. Like what? Like, I can't just be going everywhere, you know what I mean? Yeah. Then it becomes, you know, like, I ain't gonna say it becomes anything, but, you know, like, I understand. It's just one of those things. When you tall, you just can't really just be walking around everywhere, you know what I mean? Like, it becomes crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
That's been more of a natural thing. It's not anything personal.
It's not nothing personal. Yeah. It's, you know,
I used to think it was.
You used to think it was?
When you were tall, like,
when I didn't know no better.
This sounds so crazy. But when you're a tall person, like, and you step into a room and you're the only tall person, it's a lot of energy that's going, that's like
to
coming to you. Yeah, like all at the same time. So, you know what I mean? And it's nonstop.
He's gotta play for the Lakers.
Right. Like, it's just nonstop. So,
that's Anthony Davis. That's
right.
That's Anthony Davis. 80 is here.
It's Anthony Davis and
he
Ojo
cut his eyebrows crazy. He doesn't have the unibrow.
Right. It's his cousin. Yeah, so, you know, like that type of energy, you know, like.
So you're naturally just a shy person.
Yeah, I'm naturally shy. Like,
so you don't really. It's interesting. I always have this conversation with artists as well that because you create the art, you're in an industry where the attention is gonna be on you.
Yeah.
But you're not naturally that way. What kind of? I guess this is more of a from the jump type thing. What made you want to pursue music if you knew that attention would be on you ultimately at some point? Being a shy person.
I didn't know it was gonna be like that. Honestly, I was a kid, you know, like I didn't understand the adult aspect of like you're standing in front of strangers they're kind of strangers. They know who you are, but they don't know who you are.
But you get it at some point.
Yeah,
like at some point, like looking at your favorite artist, you know you're gonna have to rock the crowd. You're gonna have to have attention on you at some point. It's not just gonna be in the booth writing or whatever the case may be.
And that's the funny part. Like I said, when I first started doing it as a kid, I didn't understand that I could see it in my brain, but when I first started performing, I didn't know it was a real, like, you feel me? Like,
oh, I really got to do this.
Yeah, like, oh, I really got to, yeah, exactly. Oh, I really got to do this. So I want to say my first performances, I wouldn't say I was shy. I just was, I didn't know what was going on. I just knew I had to do this. I was just like on autopilot. So for years I was on autopilot, and then there was a time where like I had this moment where, and I remember like very vividly, I remember like somebody was saying that because I had a partner at the time, which was Rob, and he used to make the beats and I used to rap. I was like probably 16, 17 years old. And somebody like kind of like made fun of us, like we not about to do nothing on stage, like, and then it just became.
It clicked.
It clicked. Like
that makes so much sense because clicked. If you've ever seen a Stevie Crooks show, the way you command attention, bro, I haven't seen it too often. I haven't really seen it like your attention to detail. And this is years back. You know what I'm saying? This is, and I can only imagine it's enhanced over the years. But I just remember being on the side of the stage, seeing you perform at the Common Ground one time, and I'm just like, "Oh, this motherfucker's not playing at all." Right? Yeah, but it's something to the attention of detail that you had, like paying attention to each and every fan. You know, making sure that people are engaged, the call and response, like those type of things that are important for an MC to do. Yeah, and as somebody that's literally an MC, you know, commanding the crowd, right? But it makes sense as you're telling me this, is like this chip on your shoulder. And you a Taurus?
Nah, Gemini.
Okay, so you born in May though. Okay. So it's kind of like this. I see similarities in our personality in some sense, right?
Word.
Where it's like, oh, you're not gonna tell me what I can't do,
Exactly.
and I'm gonna show you like even more. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things where I can tell that chip is on your shoulder, and that makes a lot more sense again when you see, you know what I'm saying, you perform. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was almost like like I said, I remember that moment very vividly because like I think that's when I realized that it was a sport though. You know how they always say like hip hop is a sport. It's a competitive sport or whatever. Like I think at that moment I realized that it was a sport because before that everything was, you know, cool. Like, oh, it's the young homie, he rap. Like, you know, they're just showing me love just because I'm young and I rap, you know. But then it turned into something else. And I had to step up. But
does that get in the way of egos and dealing with other artists? Because I'm sure, I mean, you even alluded to a second ago, you're like, man, I didn't know if he liked me or not. Like,
yeah, Curtis thought I didn't.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's funny. Curtis thought I didn't like him. It wasn't even that. I was just, like I said, at that time, I really was on fuck everybody. Yeah. Like, I just came here to do this.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, I don't want to be friends with nobody. And it wasn't like I was like in a disrespectful way, but it was just like, I just came in to rap and that's it. Like all of this other stuff.
Yeah. That's what it was.
You know what I mean?
Villain shit. You came with a mask.
I used to wear a mask.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was. It was like, oh, this motherfucker really just.
Oh, you a real life villain.
You a real life. Let me
I just came in to rap.
Let me check my pockets, make sure my wallet is still there. No, because you literally hopped on stage with the mask.
Yeah, I used to wear a mask when I first came. Yeah,
gone. I'm like,
I would just perform and did.
That's wild.
Because what is there to talk about? Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're gonna get into it, but with Curtis, but so like the whole like thing of like waiting after and linking up with people and all of that stuff. I really was just the cloth that I came from was, like I said, just fuck everybody. So there was everybody food. That's how I was. Like everybody food.
Right.
Because we all in the same spot.
Yeah.
But I want people to remember me. So this is what we doing. You know? Like I need people to remember me because that's, in a way, it's almost like it's funny. In a way, it's almost like money. You know? Like people remembering me and people respecting me and people, you know, feeling a certain way when they see me perform or listen to my music. It's currency. It becomes currency. I'm not doing no gimmicks. I'm not asking them for anything like that. They're willingly wanting to have something to do with my art.
Yeah. They're
willingly wanting to work with me. You know, I'm skipping all the fakeness. I'm skipping all the fake shit. There's no, like, all the fake shit is done for me. Like, and I think that people think that I'm mean or something, but it's not even that. It's just that I'm in a space right now where I'm trying to change something. And it may not be immediately, but I feel like what I'm doing right now is gonna help.
What's so interesting about this is that, again, I explained in the beginning of like one of the main things that made you stand out to us, which was those conversations of standing out and going against the rules and like, or not necessarily going against the rules, but not playing by the rules.
Yeah. And I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm just like, I was just raised to see through the bullshit. And as you get older, there's some people that just accept the bullshit because that's just how it is. And then there's some people that are like, nah, you know, like, nah. The thing is like, you getting in the drive-through line and you get in line and you want a specific thing, you want something from this place and they say they don't got it and you still just get something anyway because you there. And I'm the nigga that's like, nah, we going somewhere else. Like, no. Like, nah.
You're not going to let that hunger in your belly, you know what I'm saying, settle.
Nah, like, I didn't drive over here for this. We about to go to the other one.
But and I guess that's my point. It seems like this has always been you. So when I hear you say things like you've you've had those thoughts, or you've wrestled with the idea, or you've had these conversations. I don't see it, right? You see it, and so I'm interested in how that looks for you, right? You say you've made the song but never put it out,
right?
To the consumer, to the world, your batting average is still up, right?
Yeah.
So for you, what does that look like when you're thinking about doing something, or you feel like, damn, I've compromised? Is there a moment you feel like, damn?
For sure, all the time. But
that's out.
I want to say there are certain things that I may have put out that like I knew I was compromising, and when I put it out, I knew I was compromising.
Got it.
But because there were so many, you go through those when you're an artist, and you go through these phases where you let a lot of people in, and you let a lot of people's opinions, kind of almost like affect what you got going on, and you start doing what they say, or you start leaning towards certain things, and you do it, it's cool. But then when you look back, you're like, nah, that wasn't it. That ain't it.
I'm so mad I can't think of the song right now, but it was a song that I told you I really liked like 5 years
I think it was the West Coast song that I did.
Yeah. Was that a compromise?
Not really.
Okay.
But it's not something that I would do again.
Got you.
But I think that, for one, I'm from out here, so it ain't really, it really wasn't that hard to do something like that, just because it's a part of who I am, it's a part of where we from, that sound. I grew up on that sound, so it ain't like it's that far-fetched,
Right.
But that's another one of those things where like I'm showing that I could do I could do this.
Right.
I could do a whole album of that, but that's not what I'm trying to put out into the world,
I guess
that's not the style that I'm trying to.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. So me liking that song, and I think I even reached out to you. I was like, yo, I fuck with this record. Like, it's cool. Like, it makes me feel bad for liking it, because it's like, damn, this is shit he don't even like.
But isn't that like every artist thing? Like the songs that they don't like, everybody like.
Right.
But I didn't say I didn't like it.
Yeah.
It's just like it wasn't. Every artist say the same thing. Like I think Doja said something like, all those songs I really didn't want to do them. Yeah, like I just kind of.
Prince almost trashed Purple Rain.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like it's not that. But that shows the ability of an artist. What artists can do, what artists can manipulate. So imagine if they use that same energy to create something for themselves that's new. So then it becomes, it feels better.
Yeah.
So, like I really do want to look back and look at my music and be like, yes, I was talking that talk, instead of my kids can't listen to this, or my bad, y'all.
Yeah.
Or, I don't even want those conversations with nobody in my family, honestly.
Wow.
I want people in my family like, yo, you spitting, or you talking that talk, or whatever. Like, I want that.
Yeah.
I want people to understand that I'm doing something different. Because it encourages them to be different.
Yeah. Now I like that, because again, like you said, we've heard that conversation so many times. It's like an artist will record something and like, let me just throw this bullshit out.
Yeah.
The number one album,
right?
Record's
right,
like,
right.
Damn.
And they be like, damn,
that's the one I gotta do. Right?
Yep. And now you stuck doing it because the label gonna tell you got to do that.
Yeah, man.
Now we gonna wait for the album, all that music that you was making for your album. Let's wait for that, and let's make more like this. And then that's when they be getting on the internet and complaining and doing all that stuff. But,
bruh, I'm thinking about a song on the album that I like, and as I'm thinking about it, it doesn't sound like any other song, right? And it's kind of in pocket to. And okay, here's my dilemma, right? Of course, I do radio, I do media, right? So I'm listening with that ear,
right.
But if anybody that knows me, they knows that I'm anti that.
Right.
I just have the ear for it. Oh, this would probably work, right? So when I hear the album, I hear the Invisible Man, I hear the feeling. I'm like, that's one. I see that work and I like that, right? But at the same time, I'm like, how do I put it? Like, it feels like that's one of those ones that could be more of a mainstream sound of all the songs on the project. when you hear that, is that something that you're hearing also, or is it just like got it?
Nah, it's just, and I hear what you're saying with that, because it has a bounce.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But if you listen to what I'm saying,
oh no,
yeah,
no, definitely not.
Yeah,
like, and that's what I kind of want to get into, because it's like the villain is back. You talking your shit, and it's like you're telling me that I did it without the T-Pain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah,
everything that we're talking, but it kind of shows how, in my opinion, it's like, oh, he did this over a more bouncy record, but he's still talking his shit. So this is you in real time talking about like, yo, I can do this, but I'm gonna do it in my own way. So if the shit blows up, I know that the compromise that you may think it's not the compromise.
It's not a compromise at all.
Yeah,
it's not the compromise at all, because just because I make a certain style of music don't mean I don't listen to the other music, or you know what I mean, or I don't enjoy listening to that other stuff, or enjoy the bounce, or whatever you want to say. Like, I'm hip hop. Like, at the end of the day, like, I enjoy everything.
Yeah.
But like I said, as far as my art goes, I want it to represent me, and I want other artists' art to represent them instead of somebody else. And I think that what's happening right now is like, it's so easy to copy and paste that people forgot how to type their own stories, you know, or type their own words, or if you know what I mean, you know, like, it's so easy to copy and paste. There's no reason to sit there and create your own sentence to describe you, when you can just copy and paste this and then just change a word in your description, and then, you know, so I'm not with none of that. I'm really not. Like,
when you said, was I too nice or too nice?
Yeah.
Break that down.
So that's like, and I'm pretty sure Curtis can agree with this, like, was I like too nice and letting you take advantage of me being nice, or was I too nice as far as like, I'm killing this shit and you don't want me around anymore because I made you feel a certain way?
Talk that shit.
So that's what that means. Yeah,
bro.
So and it's tricky, you know, because some, you know, like, people will show you love, but then, you know, you may be in a position where now you guys are on the same stage or on the same song or on the same album, or you guys may drop at the same time or something like that, and it's different.
Yeah.
So like, what energy is this? So as time is going by, and I deal with that all the time, just because I've been sticking to my guns and I'm saying no to things that people think are great opportunities, but to me, I just feel like it's not me.
Yeah.
As time goes by, you don't want to be involved in none of that. So
what's something that you've turned down that somebody would look at and be like, damn, I would have did that in a heartbeat?
It's all kind of stuff. I can't say
I got you.
I can, but it's like, it's all kind of stuff, you know, like,
fuck it.
Yeah, I mean,
why not?
Yeah, like,
hey, you invisible, man.
Yeah, like, people offering me deals, people offering me opportunities to be on songs with people, or send them beats to get on this and be in the studio with this person, or even be in the studio with that person and then get the opportunity to write something. But
you wouldn't write for nobody?
Nah.
Really?
Nah. Unless not hip hop.
Interesting.
There's no reason for me to do that, because then I'm a part of the problem.
Interesting. Okay, so I want to talk about this.
And don't like, I understand that this is a business, but
no. But see, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. And again, part of the reason I keep referring to that first conversation, because it sets the tone for who you are, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not tripping off of this.
No, I'm not. Everybody else is, because they've been sold this dream that they're not realizing that they can. They're not realizing that everything that's going on, that they can do it themselves, and nobody got their hand in your bag. They can do it themselves.
So why participate in some of the things that are out there as well, such as, you know, putting your stuff on streaming platforms? Why not just go?
Malcolm X stood on lots of news stations and said what he had to say.
Facts.
So I mean, it ain't no different.
Facts.
Pac stood on the different platforms and said what he had to say. It ain't no different. I'm not saying that I'm that, but those are just examples of people being on platforms to let other people know that are on these platforms that may feel like me, but they just need to be reminded, or they need to hear somebody say something, and they be like, okay, word.
Yeah.
You know, so that's just how I feel about it.
It kind of goes back to, again, a lot of the times in the interviews that I choose to do, right? I know, like, okay, I can't put people in rotation.
Right.
But to me, the conversation is way more important. So anybody that's watching it, they can go check out whatever they want to check out from said artist.
Yeah, exactly.
Check out what they like, what they don't, whatever, right? To me, that's way more important than me playing your record. And I tell artists that all the time. You can get a radio spin here and there. You can get that, right? But that, to me, that doesn't do as much as a full sit down in the conversation.
For sure.
Me personally, right? A lot of people feel different, and that's just their opinion, and that's their fine, whatever. But for me, that's more important. But I know I think my thought process is different from other people. Now I can understand the artist that do want radio play and all that, but I'm just like, okay. But I mean, just going back to participating in the industry, things that pertain to industry, being in there, that's a good point in terms of like just making sure that you're on the platform. It kind of lines up with the same thing.
Yeah. Curtis, you got something to say?
I wanted to be respectable because I know you leading the way on this.
You see where it's going.
No, I see where it's going. I know.
And Curtis,
and also you didn't ask for me necessarily to be here.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I invited Curtis.
That's the thing, bro.
Right.
That and what I say to you when you said, "Can Curtis come?" I said, "Hell yeah,
yeah."
It's my brother, like for sure. And your opinion is so valued, bro. And I want you to chime in on this as well because you're in a stage in your career as well where I see you pop in, pop out, you do your thing, right? But the intent behind your messaging, and you're just from me paying attention, it's like, yo, I'm taking all my shit down.
I almost did too.
Yeah,
almost did. And shout out to Salas because that was an unexpected and much needed conversation with my former manager, and he definitely walked me off the ledge because I was looking at Prince articles from 2015. I was like, how you do this? Like talk to me. What's going on?
For sure.
And the conversation came down to just understanding the area you're in and understanding that if I call myself a DIYer, music DIYer, I categorize Stevie, in my opinion, as a DIYer because there's so many things he has his hands connected to bring his art to the format, to the platform, and it's the thing that's the most important. With that said, though, we had a conversation, and it helped me to understand taking my music off of the platforms, as much as that's good for maybe my goal as an independent artist, it kind of shoots myself in the foot because it's the same situation if I had a restaurant and I say cash only. I know how annoying that is.
Exactly.
So it's nothing against my audience. So I'm going to make sure that convenience is there. And why does it have to be an either or? It can be an and. Right. Yep. But then I could also say, well, instead of you going to the streaming, or if you really want to directly support me, come over here to my website.
Facts.
Come over here to a Bandcamp.
Facts.
So that option's not off the table. It's just we're prioritizing that more. And just honestly speaking to Stevie, I didn't know how much I was going to be able to even chime in here today, so I'm here just really in support of really a message that I feel like I'm so glad that he's in a place now where he's saying it's not for everybody to understand his message, but for those who get it, you're going to be activated. And when I tell you, I've been getting conversations, I've been getting text message from the homie Daylight, I've been getting all different people who understand that cloth of lyricism, understand taking your craft very seriously. And everyone seems to be like, antennas are going off and people feeling like something is happening. So when he says, we had a conversation, and he says he felt like his project was the beginning of a renaissance, I believe that. I stand with that. And it's something that aligns with me as well, because I'm in a place now where it's like so many things when I was wet behind the ears that I couldn't see, I can see very clearly. And not just about just the industry, but myself.
Facts.
Right. And so when you share that with somebody and you see like, I'm not crazy for feeling this way, somebody else is expressing it in much the very same way, it definitely brings more confidence and power to the words that you're speaking, and recognizing that this is a moment that we can do something special with. Yeah. So he and I, as much as I've known him for 15 years, this is the most we ever talked in the last 3 months.
Wow. For sure.
Right? And I told him, I said, whatever I can do, like my art aside, my YouTube platform aside, whatever I can do to bring that message to the forefront, right? Even if it's doing an interview where you want to be silhouetted out, let me figure out from an artistic standpoint how we can do that, because I understand like we're living in a generation where there are artists who are being told to be the least version of their art form. Facts. And they will never see that pinnacle because of the distraction of money, the distraction of success, which is amazing that you achieved that. But you always wonder why people get to a certain level and they still want something more. What is that more? What do they feel like they let go of? When I listen to Stevie's music, when I listen to how he articulates where he's at, I'm recognizing even if we don't see it this lifetime, I believe we will. Even if we don't see it this lifetime, that is going to be a domino effect that leaves someone who's an artist right now that's saying, I'm stuck in between these two sides. I could go over here because I have the ability to pen these kind of songs, but then I also know that I have the skill to do this. And hip hop is the only art form where we encourage stunning the growth in the name of success.
Facts.
And I think about as an author, right? And it's also the only industry where we talk about age so disrespectfully and what you're doing. And it's like,
it's a young man's game.
The three top authors this year, 38, 56, 68. Those are writers. Why is it that we don't apply the same kind of politics to what they're doing? Seeing it from that perspective, I recognize that there are, whoever that is, there are people who feel invested in grown men not growing up, grown women not growing up. Damn. And when we see that and we know we can do better, my grandma used to always say, the more you know, the more you owe. Yep. And I just feel like that's the period we're in right now. And that may mean sometimes putting my art to the side and saying, all right, bro, let's get this interview done. Let me help you with your visual.
Word.
And then him saying, okay, cool. You need something for your project. Like in this era of independence, we have to be there for each other.
We have to.
Utilizing those resources for sure. And I feel like what better way in time than now? It's like the technology is there.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The resources are there for sure.
I call it the digital underground.
I like that.
Yeah, that's where we at.
It dawned on me as I was at the festival, the Thought Fest last week. I looked around, Chuck, and I said, 4K camera, 4K camera, 4K camera. I was like, Shock G was a prophet.
Facts.
We're literally living in the digital underground.
We're living in a digital underground.
How many stories have you heard, Chuck? How many stories have you shared where you were like, man, if we only had this, even a 720, peak camera, and they weren't around. We're living in a time now where a conversation like this could have easily been something offline, but we're doing this, and it's very easy for people to consume, share, and spread all over the world. We're living in the digital underground.
Yep.
So when understanding that, I'm like, all right, so then what is my role in this? What is Stevie's role in this?
Right.
And how can I make sure that if there's something I can do to help, I be of service?
Yeah.
So if that meant driving out here to not saying one word, I was prepared to do that.
No, that's amazing. That's amazing, bro. For real, man. Yeah. I think it's needed. And again, my point in this, when I hit you, I'm like, people need to see this, bro.
Yeah.
Even though they're not gonna see you, but you know, people need people need to see this because they need to know it's possible. Whether it's for them or not.
Yeah, it's possible. I'm telling you, it's more. I'm not the only one. That's the crazy thing. Like, I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
It's so many people that just like feel like there's certain things that they may not want to do, and it's damn near stopping them from making something beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, or changing something, or making a whole new genre. Who knows? Like,
right.
It's not just hip hop. It's just music, period. Like, people, because of the internet and because of all of this stuff that's going on, you know, the people that have honed their craft, it's hard for them to find a place because you know, they spent a lot of time practicing, and they spend a lot of time like taking their time with things, and the internet is like this.
Yeah, now.
So it puts you in a position where like, I don't got time. I don't have time to go this fast. If that makes if that makes sense. Like everybody feels rushed. So like the great people don't want to feel rushed, because when they were doing what they were doing, there was no rushing involved. They just created how they felt, whether it took a year or whether it took 3 years or 4 years. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not talking about music either, like painting or writing stories or writing a movie, like whatever. Like we're in an era where people are in a rush.
Yeah.
I think that's where collaboration is important, though. I think that's why moments like this happen, because he doesn't have to rush it. If he has somebody like for me, for instance, the dynamic between us.
Word, that's crazy. That's crazy.
That's the connection. Is that the things that he's like, I'm not about to sit up here making a bunch of reels.
Right.
This project, right?
Yeah.
But I see it and I say, this is my opportunity to be my favorite directors.
Mm-hmm.
I can be Jordan Peele. I can be Spike Lee. And he's giving me that artistic freedom because he's an artist.
Yeah.
So in having that dynamic, I'm like, bro, the things that sound like an extra step for you, I swim in that.
Easy.
How can I be that for you?
Yeah.
Because I know there's gonna come a time where it's like, even my project that I'm working on, I'm like, I might need some narration from Stevie.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But it's not for that. And I think that the more independent artists out here who are like, yeah, I don't know what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I hear one thing about how labels are deprioritizing rap, and I'm hearing one thing on this side about how independence is not easy, and both things can be true.
Right.
But I think that this is a time where it needs to be less about me, and we. How can we reach across? There's some whatever scene that you're a part of right now, there is someone in your scene right now that it may not even make any sense, but you two coming together will be the best thing for your region.
Facts.
And it may not make sense on paper. Like, we make different kind of music. Me and Stevie are the example. When I met him, I was wearing sticking nightshades and stuff like that, right? And he was rapping about villainy shit. So it's like, it didn't make, even when I watch the throwback videos, it doesn't make any sense. But the thing is, at the end of the day, we come across the same problems. We come across the same obstacles. And we, unfortunately, sometimes, even as black men, don't talk to each other about these things. So when we get to talking, and it's like, oh, word.
Yeah.
Are we on the, okay. So what can we do about it?
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing becomes so much easier to attack.
What I'm hearing is that, the conversation is needed. It's important.
Mm-hmm.
Has to be had. You can't be afraid to have those conversations.
Yeah.
And like you said, where you don't want to do something, somebody else can pick up on it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But the conversation is needed. Like, you have to have those conversations, and the collaboration part, you really hit that on the head, man. As a DIYer,
Mm-hmm.
Did I say that right?
You said that right? Yeah.
DIY.
Yeah, I'm tripping. I don't know why.
It's such an awkward way of saying it.
I was like, no. I'm like,
no, I'm talking about, I made that, and it's still awkward. I recognize that.
Is there ever a scenario where entertaining mainstream or entertaining a major deal makes sense?
As a DIYer?
As a DIYer.
Well,
because we're talking about collaboration as well,
sure.
right? Yeah. And if there's something that the major label can do that maybe you're not able to at this moment, like maybe make you a quote unquote household name. That's what you hear all the time, and the labels can do that.
Yeah.
Man.
You mind if I take this one?
Yo,
He's like
body
slam. He's about to body slam this one right here.
You good.
All right.
We had this conversation. So
we had this convo.
Is there a world?
We had this convo. Yeah.
Okay.
I think the first thing that's important is to establish what a DIYer is for those who don't know, at least within my tribe.
Please.
Because I think some people think DIYer means F everybody, I just do it myself. And that's not what it is.
That's not what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's I asked you for help. You didn't have the time. I asked you for help. I didn't have the budget. I asked you for help. You told me that I suck. Okay, I have to self-start this and figure this out. And I'm not afraid to teach myself how to graphic design. I'm not afraid to teach myself how to video edit. I'm not afraid to teach myself these things. Even if I'm not the best at it, at least I'll get the ball rolling. And if I can get some cash flow, I can delegate it, and I can work with some amazing people along the way, which I have. So when we say DIY, it is we're not afraid to get started and do it by doing it ourselves. So with that said, a very important component in that is collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
But the beauty of independence is the freedom of who you collaborate with. And I think that for so long, the mainstream has been like the darling, like the everything is perfect, everything is good. I could tell you this, what I appreciate so much with having you as a friend, Head as a friend, Salas as a friend, and my former manager, you guys allowed me to see everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the vision I needed to be able to do the work that I'm doing today. Because I wouldn't be able to speak so passionately or confidently about it had I not took a peek in and been like, oh, my thoughts of what this was is completely different. And then also as an industry as a whole, like, I feel like in order for that conversation to happen, there needs to be some house cleaning on both sides, right? There needs to be some accountability on my side of there are certain things that are not for me and my audience, right? There's certain things that even as a creative, I'm not supposed to be doing. I know I have the ability to do it, but if that's not my passion, I'm not walking in purpose. On the other side, there are ways that you see some entities, not all of them, treat the art and treat artists, and we know better. We know better than to continue to do that. So I think that it's not off the table, but it shouldn't be a situation where you're begging to get in the room. It shouldn't be a situation where you're harassing folks or feeling like what you're doing is not valuable. I think too many people feel like independence is you're pending. You're just waiting.
Mm-hmm.
You're impending, waiting for somebody to finally choose you and dance.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what independence is. There's a lot of up-and-comers who fit that category. But when it's independence is, no. We're going to establish this as a small business. We're going to delegate. We're going to get cash flow. We're going to scale. We're going to do all the proper things. We're going to get our LLC. We're going to get our trademarks. We're going to do this as a business. And when we do that, it doesn't matter who comes to the table. The standards are still the same standards. I've set the bar. Look, me having this meeting with you is taking away from something that's actually profiting. What are we talking about? Right. No matter who it is. Yeah. But I think too many of our peers, and last thing I'll say, too many of our peers sometimes see a name, and it's not just mainstream as a business, but see an artist and they throw their panties at them. They have no sense about themselves. They don't think about the things they value anymore, and they'll sign anything that comes in front of them. And I really feel like, based upon the conversation Stevie and I had, like, the things I would say, like, I don't care who name it is. You put I'm not signing that. Right. There's a reason why you want me to sign that. And it's not because I'm paranoid. I'm looking at this and I'm saying I must be doing something right. What happens if I continue to do it? It's bigger than just hip hop. When you got Mr. Beast telling Google no to $20 billion for his channel, and he says, I think that if it's worth 20 today,
man.
Yep.
What's the real value of it?
What's the real value? Exactly.
So the DIY is much bigger than just the music. It is happening all across the board where the mom and pop business has evolved and it's become digital.
I love that, man.
Yep.
I love that. Steve, you wanna take on any part of that? Add on to that, just from your thought process. Is there?
I was about to say something crazy, but I ain't gonna say nothing crazy. I'm gonna just chill.
Man, hey, brother.
Nah, I'm gonna chill.
You invisible. Ain't nobody gonna know.
Nah, I'm gonna chill.
You invisible, man.
Nah, I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna chill.
But I do want to get on the response from the album before we close out. The response that you've been getting from the album, and also just moving forward. What are some things that you're looking forward to accomplishing maybe before the year ends, man?
The response from the album, the main response that I've been getting, honestly, is they really been saying, like, it reminds them of when I first, like, it's like the first Stevie. Like, this remind me of old Stevie. And it's funny because that's how I felt too. Because there's a whole phase of, like, I kind of strayed away, but I end up coming back. Because I had to reflect. There was a lot going on in my life, and I had to look back and, like, one thing that I know that will get me back in line is making music. One thing that I know will get me back in line is making music that I want to make. Yeah. When I always felt out of line when I'm not doing something that I don't want to do.
Same.
Yeah. I think that's everybody, but it's like going to work. Like, people don't want to go to work. You don't feel okay with going to work, but when you get off work and then you may smoke, or watch whatever your thing is, you feel like
cool,
woo, yes,
yeah,
I'm back holding it.
Right, I'm back, and that's how I felt like when I was creating this album. I was like, I started making the first few songs, and I was like, oh, okay, this is what I'm talking about. That those conversations that I had within myself, like this is what I was looking for, and I found that space, and I stayed in that space. That space was me talking to myself, honestly, like really talking to myself and looking in the mirror and asking myself questions about what I want to do and how I want to be represented and how I want my kids to see me, how I want my family to see me, how I want my girl to see me, how, like, all of these things, like how I want my peers to see me. Do I want to look like I'm a follower or do I want to look like I'm a leader?
When you say kids, do you have kids now? Or
I don't have kids.
Future kids.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
future kids.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, and that's another thing. Like, I don't even have kids, but I'm already thinking about that,
right?
Because I want them to grow up and be, when they become my age, and they look back and they listen to this, they're gonna be like, "That's my pops." You know what I mean? Like, pops are spitting, pops. In that climate that was going on at that time, because it's gonna be in history. I may not be in the history books. I don't know, but for my family's history, my family will always remember during that time when all of this was going on. This is what your dad was doing. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's what I care about.
Can I say this?
Yeah,
I do think it's going to be in history, Stevie.
As
somebody that's not just your peer, but as somebody who started off as a fan before I even knew what you did. Something you told me that I thought was really powerful, I'm going to share with you, Chuck.
Please.
Is he asked one question that really started off every narration. He said, of all this music that you're hearing, right, there's things that of the time, they're the biggest things going on. But when you really think about the way that art is treated, like fine art, art that thousands, like the Mona Lisa, it's a reason why it's behind the ropes. There's a reason why there's lines in front of the building just to see
it, right?
Just to look at this thing. They're traveling.
The only way that something can last that long is if an artist reaches the highest peak, in at least the way, in our opinion, the highest level of their art form. This is me at my prime within my era, and there's far too many people who, not passing judgment on them because you have to live your life, you have to define what is success for you. I can't look myself in the mirror and listen to art. It's even like I've strayed more than he strayed, right? To be honest with you, I've strayed a whole lot more than he strayed. But even this tells you how beautiful art is. That's a photo in the gallery as well. That's a painting in the gallery as well.
Yes.
When you strayed, I go to the Getty Museum. You see the different lives of a certain king. You see it all throughout history and what they went through. I now think about that because when you say, does your music belong in a museum? The first thing I think about is legacy, right? When your contributions, right, to radio, to media, I look at those things as a fine art piece. Wow. You cannot duplicate that.
Can't duplicate it.
Yeah. You can do your best AI impersonation, but you cannot duplicate it. You and I can have the same voice, but you cannot duplicate it.
Yeah.
But when you look at your art like that, and now how about this?
The robots is here too.
How about this? When you recognize that even at your best, that direction you're heading in, they don't want you. What are you going to do now? Even at your best, you get the best feature, you get the best beats, you get the cosigns, you even get the radio spin, and you still recognize they don't want that version of me. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
For some people, they may just quit and move on to what they were really supposed to do, but if you truly love this art, you know exactly what I'm saying. And one thing Stevie said on that project that I keep echoing is, if it's not for you, it wasn't meant for you. This is a custom experience.
Custom.
Yeah. For real. That's because there's some people that look at the Mona Lisa and be like, that's stupid.
It's trash. Right.
You feel me?
Man, what she look?
Right. Yeah.
She looking at me.
Look that
right.
Right.
She'll be Ice Spice.
She don't look better than my girl. You know what I mean?
That's insane.
Right. But look at we're talking about a painting that's been around for how long?
We're still talking about it.
And we're still talking about it. So, like, I want that for my fans. I want that for my family. I want that for my people. Like, it gets to a point where it's like my albums or my projects, they become that thing for my people, and it's And also for my peers, they look at the same thing, and that's what the Renaissance was. It was a whole bunch of artists like seeing people go crazy, and they like, oh, hold up, I'm gonna go crazy too, like, And then it was just out of nowhere you get sculptures and crazy paintings on the ceiling, and people was going crazy, like, oh, you did a painting on the wall, I'm about to go on the ceiling.
Watch this.
Watch this, yeah. So that's where we at right now, like, and like I said, I'm not the only one. It's artists everywhere. I think that they just like he said, they in this weird thing where like there's so many videos of telling people what to do that they forgot how to be themselves. Right. So you know, like, I just want people to just go crazy,
be yourself,
and stop. You know, like you feel like you're pending, and you don't need to feel like you're pending. You need to just go. Just go crazy.
You was free. You free,
my brother. You free, brother. Like, you free.
Is unlearning the necessary requirement before going crazy? Or can you go crazy and unlearn in the process?
I think you have to unlearn.
You got to unlearn. You got to. It's crazy. It's sad to say that, but it's really like that though.
And when do you know you've truly unlearned? Like, how do you start that process? Like,
check your value system. Check where your values are at, because when you start asking the reason, why do I want 1 million streams?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because someone told me that's what
$35.
Why, you know exactly right? Because I need $35. No,
I need $35.
But when you really trace it back, you start thinking about vanity statistics, and then who told you those were the most important metrics as an artist? Then you start recognizing, oh, those are almost like hockey rules applying to basketball. You're not even in the same ecosystem anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that a lot of folks don't recognize that, and it's an illusion to them. They see the industry as like, yo, I know I can get in there. And I'm talking to them, and I'm like, first of all, you don't have the skin for it, the thick skin for it. And second of all, like, you have to understand how little of a priority you are when someone already has a version of you, and there's nothing different that you're bringing. I think that in recognizing what Stevie is saying, recognizing our difference, that is the first step to recognizing.
That's the first step.
I don't need to value these things. What happened? What would happen if I did not hold this as high as pushing my art to the next level? And then also, how many super fans do I need? I think we tap dance as artists for casuals.
Yeah,
for
and
the masses.
Casuals ain't doing it for you.
Casuals ain't doing it.
Casuals ain't doing it for nobody.
They're not gonna pay your bills, especially as an independent. Like, you need those super fans who say, yo, Stevie, I need every vinyl.
Yep.
I'm going to every show. I don't care if I can't see your face or not.
Right.
You don't need 1,000 of those. 100 of those right now will change your life.
Yeah.
It will change your music career. You will not work another day in your life.
I'm just thinking about how many copies of All Eyes on Me that I bought. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just,
like,
but you're talking about, like, as super fans, you go the
and
extra
think about,
mile
like,
for that.
Just anything that got to do with Tupac, you just buying it. Shirts and pictures.
All
and
that.
They still using them for rollouts.
Figurine, toys.
They still use his name for rollouts.
Right, yeah. So it's like, that right there, you know.
Is there anything that the Invisible Man hasn't said that you want to make sure that the people know? I do want to ask you one other question about the project. Is there, I'm going to bring this question back because I haven't really asked this in a while. Is there, if there was a business card track, like if there's a song on the project that like is the best representation of this album to kind of sum it up for the people that are watching that don't know who Stevie Crooks is, they're pressing play for the first time, they love the conversation and they want to go check out the project. Which one is the best representation of everything that we talked about in Stevie Crooks as of today?
I'm gonna say Ghost Dog.
Ghost Dog.
Yeah, Ghost Dog is a representation of it's my spirit, like literally on the song. Like, it's my everything about it. The sounds, how I'm rapping, the energy, just that's my spirit, you know, like literally on the song. It's a burning spirit. I'm on fire, you know, like and like I said, when I recorded that song, there was a mode of like it's me against the world, one of those, you know what I mean? Like, it's me against the world.
Yeah.
Like, if this is the last song that I ever make, everybody gonna remember this. They're gonna remember this energy. Like, if this is my last song, this is what it is.
Yeah.
The Ghost Dog represents that. Like, it represents, you know, that fire that's inside of me. Because I'm still hungry. Like, and that's the other thing. Like, I'm still hungry. And it's scary.
You're too old to be hungry, bro.
Right, I'm too old to be hungry. Let the youngins be hungry. But
wow, don't subscribe to that. Don't subscribe to that.
What you mean, bro?
Don't subscribe.
Yeah, I'm still hungry. I'm still hungry.
Be hungry,
This
man.
man sounds like when I first met Can't Stop the Crooks. He sounds like he sound like he just started again. I'm like, where you got your
I'm hungry. Like
aging serum from?
I just, like I said, I went through that unlearning phase. I had to unlearn things that I was chasing. Or like he said, like you feel like you pending, you waiting for somebody to come grab you and take you into the club.
Yeah. Nobody coming to save you.
Nobody coming to save you.
The worst feeling, right?
You know what I mean? Like, and I'm tired of those days.
Yeah.
Everybody tired of those days, but everybody is still pursuing it. It's which is crazy to me because there's so much information for us to show that you can do this yourself, and then eventually they have to work with you. And then they have to go by your rules.
You got the leverage.
You got the leverage. You know, it may take a long time. It may, or it may not.
Yeah. And
but as long as
that's a bigger question right there. Or an answer is it may not. And
it
you
may
have
not.
to be okay with that.
And you got to be okay with that. You got to be okay with that because it's probably with somebody that was better than Michael Jordan that didn't make it to the NBA.
Facts. Straight up. No,
you know what I mean? But you know, like all the street ball legends and all of that stuff, like where they are, you know.
But if it doesn't, look at the art you left behind.
Look what you left behind. Look what you left behind. You know, like
how do you lose?
And people forget that all of the heroes and all of these people that all these people that are heroes that we know about, there was something about them that's making them stand out. And one thing that I always noticed about these heroes, they went against the grain. Every one of them. There's something about them in their story where they went against something and everybody told them not to go against something. And everybody called them crazy.
Yeah.
And everybody tried to say they was stupid. And then the police try to arrest them. And all of these, you know what I mean? It's the whole thing. Right, but you know, like if it ain't the police, then it's somebody else trying to, you know, like somebody trying to stop them. And maybe their own family members that's trying to stop them, whatever. But it's something about our heroes or like these legendary people that stood up for something that everybody was afraid to stand up for. And I feel like with this Renaissance, I don't want you to think that, you know, it's not possible. Yeah. You know, like it's possible. It's a bunch of us.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
we out here.
This nigga scared. You know what I mean? Like this nigga scared. Like y'all be scared, but y'all not realizing like it's a bunch of us.
Right.
And you know, like what's the movie the spook that said about it?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like it's the same thing. It's a bunch of us. It's a bunch of people that are not informed because the information that they're getting is coming from a source that don't even care about you. So why you taking information from somebody that don't even want you to get to a certain level?
Yeah.
That's going to get them out of a job or something. So you gotta look at it like that and just
No, you said
You said that. Look,
I'm gonna stop talking.
I'm cautious because I don't want.
Right.
I'm stopping, but I'm not stopping because I don't want you to stop going.
Yeah. No,
I understand.
I said what I had to say.
Yeah.
And the last thing I honestly want to say is just it's okay to be different.
I love that.
That's just what it is. It's okay to be different.